Beerstorming time, and welcome. I'm MC Carter, founder of Paradox, and it is that time of the week to have a beer. Now, I've gotten myself a hold of a Kilkenny because it's St. Patrick's Day. So I hope you've had a fantastic week. We've had another stellar week here at Paradox for various reasons, and I'd like to share a couple of things with you today about what we're seeing personally and what we're seeing with accounting, advisory firms, and small businesses in general. How digital marketing and the cloud, how it's completely leveling the playing field for all businesses. It's a very, very exciting time to be in business. I've been in business for decades, as you can tell by looking at me, but I don't think there's ever been a more exciting time. You can have a business that you can run from anywhere and dominate your niche nationally, internationally, globally. And we're helping firms do that all the time. But here's a little story of what's happened for us. In the last 24 hours, 3 of the firms that have become Paradox members have been located in far-flung places around the globe. Nearest to home, a new firm just signed up and they're based in Christchurch. Lovely part of the world. I have played cricket there. Gorgeous part of the world. Outside of earthquakes, so it's a bit prone there. Another firm, second firm, is based in San Francisco in the States, and the third firm that signed up is based in the UK, in Surrey. I haven't played cricket there yet. Looking forward to it. But how's this? Here's how this happened. I've never met them face to face, but we've really gotten to know each other because we've had some fantastic web meetings together where we've had each of us on either end, webcams on, and we've discussed what they want to achieve in their business and overcoming the obstacles around applying leverage and digital marketing. So I feel like I know them very well, but I haven't pressed the flesh, met them in real life, as they say. And get this, I live by the beach on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Now, for those of you not from Queensland, the Sunshine Coast is not the Gold Coast, okay? There's Brisbane, capital of Queensland. Gold Coast is south, Sunshine Coast is north, about an hour and a half north of Brisbane. Anyway, I live in Paradise. I moved here 2.5 years ago with my wife and 2 kids, and we love it. We absolutely love living where we live. And we've got team members who live on the Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, sort of Sydney, Newcastle area, Manila, US now have an intern starting based in the US. So could you have imagined that just, I don't know, 5, 10 years ago? It seems commonplace now and it's becoming increasingly so. But you can dominate your niche, and that presumes you have one, you have a focus, globally. If you search marketing for accountants, see what comes up. We'll be there with bells on. Now, those 3 firms, just think this through and apply it to your business. Those 3 accounting and advisory firms that came on board as Paradox members in the last 24 hours in 3 different countries around the world that I've never met. That's $43,200 in new engagements for our business. And I didn't leave my desk. And here's how it happened. In terms of lead generation, that was done by webinars, video, social media, blogging, and email. So I'll say those again: webinars, video, and this is video, isn't it? Live video. Social media, so Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and blogging. We're constantly blogging our thoughts and opinions out there. Sometimes they're a bit too opinionated for some, but that's okay. And email. So that generated the leads. And if you look into our marketing automation system that we use, and we recommend and use Infusionsoft, which we love, but if you're not ready for Infusionsoft, Active Campaign is awesome as well. Now, when we look at any contact in our system, we can see the little baby steps that they've taken before they inquired. And the pattern usually is they've looked at certain blogs, and Infusionsoft Analytics actually shows us, okay, they looked at this page on the website for 5 minutes, this one for 8 minutes, this one for 5 seconds, whatever it might be. Other patterns include they've downloaded things off our websites, the different ebooks and white papers like True Advisor and branding checklists for accountants and how do you rate as a rainmaker, all these little baby steps. And then they subscribe to our e-newsletter, Modernize. And if you haven't subscribed to that, get the website and subscribe to that, because apart from being free, obviously, it's an e-newsletter, we let you know when there's new blog posts and webinars coming up. And often they will have come to a couple of webinars or more, and before we know it, we're talking in a web meeting and they want us to implement modern marketing. So that lead generation was all done in the cloud, virtually, all content driven. And often when I'm speaking to a firm that's thinking about coming on board as a Paradox member, they mention things, they'll quote me, and I think, I haven't said that very often, but I did say it in a Friday Beerstorming recently. So a lot of people are actually seeing these videos, even though we don't necessarily get a lot of people live for lots of reasons for our target market, but the videos live on and people see them. Amazing. So you need to be doing the same in your business. And what we do in our business is what we teach you to do in yours, whether you're an accounting firm, business advisory firm, or now we also work with the small businesses of the entrepreneurial accountants that we work with. But that was the lead generation in terms of how people came to know us and like us and trust us to get in touch to speak with us. Now then, in terms of the sales process, that was the website, web forms, and web meetings, web. They go through our marketing gap analysis process, which is a web form on our website. It's actually an Infusionsoft form embedded on the site that people then complete as part of our 3-step evaluation process that we guide people through. So I haven't left my chair at this point. Keep that in mind. I know I've mentioned that before. So let's just stop for a moment and have a drink and just think, why am I bothering to tell you this? Feel free to enter a comment as to why you think I'm telling you this. Cool, Kenny, not bad. So am I doing this to big note myself? That makes my skin crawl when I see people bragging. So I'm not here to tell you, vacuous stories of what I've purchased or the latest exotic place I played golf or my next trip into outer space or whatever it should be. Narcissism, not really my thing. The point here is that these results that I'm talking about are available to us all, to you. You can generate $40, $50, $170,000 we've generated off just one webinar without leaving our chairs. So to do that though, you need to understand a few things. And what happened for us over the last 24 hours here at Paradox HQ is precisely what we help our members achieve. Now on that, last week, or was it the week before, I interviewed Greg Tuckwell of zerobooks.com. That's zero, the Z or a Z, not the X, Z-E-R-O, books.com. And I interviewed Greg about how the exact same thing's happening for him in his global bookkeeping business. He's getting inquiries from virtually every continent, maybe other than Antarctica. And he shared with us how his business has grown month on month on month, even though he's been fighting cancer. That's right, cancer, for over the last 8 months or so. Phenomenal. So have a look at that video. A lot of people have told us they found it incredibly inspiring, and it is. Greg's story is amazing. So if you have a solid strategy, and everything starts with strategy, and strategy might not be what you think it is. I'm doing the opening keynote at the upcoming public practice conference for CPA Australia in Lawn, Victoria in May, and it's all about strategy. And often people confuse objectives with strategy. Objectives is the end point. Strategy is how are you going to win. So everything starts with strategy. But then on top of that, if you have a clear, compellingly articulated message, now this includes your content, blog posts, videos, webinars, social media, but it is much more than your content. It also includes your value proposition and other things. So we're talking about your strategy. We're talking about your message. And thirdly, if you then wrap those two things in smart systems to track your metrics, well, frankly, I think that success is inevitable. I really do. Now, inevitable, strong word. I'm not here to sit on any fences. Now, if that sounds far-fetched, like seriously, it's not. I've helped a number of businesses triple and quadruple their revenue. I spoke to 2 businesses today that have had their best month ever in the previous month. This works. But the reason it works is it's based on principles that would work whether we're talking about business or your relationships or your health, maintaining your weight. And the formula that I apply, and if you follow me personally in Twitter, which is Michael MC Carter, at Michael MC Carter in Twitter, that's my personal Twitter, you'll see my bio says, talks about my passion for value times communication times leverage equals results. So value, you've got to understand the value of what you're actually delivering, and oftentimes businesses don't, particularly in the accounting advisory space. So that's number one. But then you've got to learn to communicate that value. But if you only ever learn to communicate that value one-to-one or small groups, you've got a little hobby, a little boutique business. You then apply leverage. So those things I was talking about earlier, blogging, websites, webinars, video, social media, email, a whole range of tools that you use. You apply leverage, you get the communication of your value out there, and people do come to you. And you'll be able to think, well, that's pretty cool. Picked up a few clients today. There's another $42,300 in revenue. But more importantly than the dollars is the fact that as an advisor, you didn't get into the game that you're in to fill out timesheets and note your little 6-minute increments or invoice or monitor WIP and debtors. You got into the advisory game, particularly if you're the style of accounting and advisory firm that we deal with that's focused in on business advisory. You got into that because you love the game of business and you actually want to make a difference. You want to change lives, and we feel really strongly about entrepreneurship and its ability. The small business sector drives the economy, and the small business sector is driven quite literally by families. Small business is family business, and a good small business is a powerful, powerful thing for everyone involved, not just the families that own, start, work in the business, but also the employees, everyone in the whole value chain, suppliers, and ultimately their customers. But a struggling small business sucks. It can kill you. It can degrade all aspects of your life, because that when you're in a business, you work a lot harder than you would otherwise if you weren't running your own business. So this inevitability that I speak of, it's not a hope, it's not a wish at all. It's just what happens when you follow that methodology. So in closing, let you get on with your Friday Beerstorming drink. What about you? And what about your business? Where are you at with your results? Are you crystal clear on your results? And how do they compare with where you wanted to be at this point in time? Is there a gap? Is that gap acceptable? Are you going to just let it be, or are you going to do something about it? So are you an implementer, or are you a procrastinator? Be true to yourself. To thine own self be true. So the playing field, in closing, it's a really, really fantastic time to be in business. You can have a global business dominating your niche, using digital marketing and the cloud in general. And when I say the cloud, not just in the marketing, in operations, in your accounting, in your internal communication, collaboration, even how you communicate with your clients. Just amazing, amazing era that we're in. So this playing field of business has never been more level. There's a fantastic book by Thomas Friedman called The World is Flat. If you haven't read it, go and read it. Personally, I was saying to someone the other day that I think The World is Flat should be a book in high school, maybe even primary school, but probably high school, in modern history, because it is modern history. It actually explains how the world became flat, and that to be competitive now no longer relies on your history or your size or your amount of capital. So all I can say is get out there and do it, but you can only do it if you're savvy to these new ways of doing modern business in marketing and everywhere else. This digital age is exciting, so get savvy and we'll show you how to get there. But in the meantime, enjoy your beer, whether it's an Irish one or not. Hopefully it's not a green one. This isn't green, it's just brown. I'm off to the Marcoola Markets tonight, near the Marcoola Surf Club, where I'm a member, where they have like a multicultural market with all sorts of food. So I'm meeting my wife, Isabella, and my 2 kids and a whole bunch of friends down there. So I hope you've got a fun night and weekend planned for you. And think about those things. Think about your value. Think about your communication. Think about how you can leverage those 2 things. And I'll see you next Friday for Friday Beerstorming. See you then.